everyone. Welcome to TV Talk with Natasha and Kimberly. I am Kimberly. That is Natasha. Say hi, Natasha.
Hi.
All right, guys. I know it has been about a minute since we have done. I got that from Natasha too. Since we have done TV Talk, we have had a lot of things going on. I had WonderCon, and Natasha had Awesome DC, and the week after we both had C2E2. And then we both got sick.
Yes, we both got sick. I'm still recovering, but I'm a lot better than I was yesterday. I was still sneezing, and we'll see how long I last. Let's just try and hurry up so I don't have to sneeze or blow my nose in front of these nice folk. I don't want to see that.
I know, and I just finished antibiotics, so I'm feeling a lot better. So poor Natasha. Hopefully in the next couple of days she'll be 100%. So we have got a lot to catch up on, and so what we're going to do is film some separate episodes of TV Talk. This one is going to be about the following, but before we get into that, I just want to say at C2E2, guys, and we review Teen Wolf. We were lucky enough to meet Tyler Posey and Crystal Reed. We took a picture with them. It's up on the site. It's on our Instagram as well. And I also got to meet Tyler Posey, where he signed an autograph to the Nerd Element, mind you, and we did tell him about this show. So hopefully he takes a listen, and we will be doing Teen Wolf reviews when it comes up in June. I believe it starts again, right?
Yes, next month. It's already here. It's kind of like a brief hiatus, and I'm really excited. So let's get to the following. We have The Silence, which was the second to last episode before the season finale, and then Forgive, which was the last episode or the season finale of season 2. I do believe it's been picked up for season 3, which is a good thing because I need to see more Ryan and Mike because they still have work to do. So let's first talk about the Silence episode, and we just have to have a moment of silence, even though she was like a bad character. Not bad character, but she killed people, okay? But she was still a human, and she still got killed. So let's just have a brief moment of silence for Emma, who is finally gone from the file. Okay, now that that's been done, let's talk about how dumb she was, okay?
Oh,
she did not listen to Joe. It's her own fault that she got killed, and granted, it was also Claire's fault that she almost got killed because she did not listen to Ryan. Okay, Ryan told her to stay put.
I literally have in my notes, this is what I have: Claire is stupid. Everyone is stupid. I wrote it right here. That whole episode, both of them were absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
I don't. Well, so we start off. They're lying for Mike about what happened with Lily.
And Mark and Luke are on the warpath. They're like, we need to get back at them. Mike, Ryan, and Joe. And so they actually take an opportunity to kidnap Claire at the end of the episode because, again, she was being dumb. She wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. So yeah, let's just continue with
Luke was having a little breakdown there in the car. He's having a little mental breakdown because that was his adoptive mother who raised him, and she died, and he was having a breakdown. And Mark was kind of the voice of reason there. And then they go to regroup, and it's odd. I mean, Claire left that message for Joe. She had, what was her name? The news anchor.
Reporter.
Yeah. Say that message. She knew exactly what was going to happen, and that Joe was going to go looking for her. And so she shook the tail of the people that were watching her, the cops, and she went to go meet Joe. On the flip side, Joe sends Emma there to retrieve her, and I'm like, Emma doesn't want to go retrieve your wife. I mean, obviously Emma's ex-wife. Emma was actually why would you do that? You can tell Emma's in love with you, and he's totally manipulating her, and you don't want to send somebody who obviously has issues because she's in your cult after to fetch somebody that you care about, because obviously she's going to be jealous and bad things are going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. Emma was jealous and wanted Claire dead. So I didn't see any of this ending well, but I can tell you that it did take me by surprise. I did not think they were going to kill Emma. Like,
I wasn't really expecting that either. I don't know how. It's really weird because I wasn't really sure how I wanted her to go, but that wasn't it. But
Nope.
I guess in a way, Claire handled herself. I have to give Claire a little bit of credit here, even though she got on my nerves for going there in the first place, but she did handle herself. So I have to give her a little bit of credit there, just a little.
Yeah, I mean, that her fight too was like uncomfortable. Like,
That was a little bit uncomfortable.
yeah, to watch, it's just violent, and then I don't know. For some reason, it never occurred to me that Emma would ever die because I thought she was like a main character on the show. So
How many people did they kill off in the first season alone?
I know, but she's like, I don't know, a second-hand person, and it didn't occur to me, and so I stood there with my mouth open, and I was like, okay, well, she's gonna get up, and everything's
She
gonna
did get up initially, and
I
then
know.
she, got her something
She
pushed into the
impaled.
fruit. She impaled, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's done.
Dead now. Yeah, it was kind of gross, and I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. I'm like, is the show ending? I don't. What is
Like, how can they
happening?
move forward with this? What? And can I just say that the church, the whole hostage situation was just as disturbing? I'm just gonna put it out there. Granted, I gotta give them props for even going there, but at the same time, it was a little bit uncomfortable because it's like violence in a church.
Yeah, that's sacrilege. I don't even know if they should film stuff like that in church. I hope it was like a soundstage. But
Yeah, I really hope that was like a set versus an actual church. That's gonna be really awkward. I'm sorry.
yeah, it was kind of sad, and what they did to Kingston, videotaping it and then making him denounce well, Joe said denounce your God basically, but Kingston
Yeah.
was, he believed in God, and he was a pastor, or did they
Yeah.
call him reverend? Yeah, so to make him do that to save his son, and then you really have no plans on really saving his son. You guys he wanted him to fight to the death with his son.
Mhm.
Kingston stood up and was like, he's a father foremost, and he did what he had to do so his son could survive, and so he ended up killing himself, which was sad.
That was a little depressing.
It was a little depressing, and yeah, so I mean, that death, and then Emma's death, and then Joe finds Mike,
Mhm.
and I think that's how that ended there, and you were kind of like questioning, like, oh my gosh, is he gonna shoot Mike?
Yes,
What else?
I'm like, I did not want to say bye to Sean Ashmore. I'm like, I can't say bye to him right now. I did not get my Mike and Max moment, so I'm like, he does not die until I get that moment. Oh boy.
I didn't know what to think because, like I said, I can't believe they killed off Emma. So at this point, I'm like, nobody's safe, and I was sitting there in shock, and I'm like, this is not happening. What is happening? I can't. So, and then they ended, and I'm like, no, I have to wait.
Yes, and then we have the season finale, Forgive. We open up with Mike, getting threatened by Joe, and it's like, I'm gonna shoot Mike if you don't come out, Ryan. And then he winds up shooting Preston, the son. So it's like the father just died for nothing because the son died anyway, which really sucks. And just the
a horrible
whole
person.
he's a horrible person, but Joe. James Purefoy, he just plays Joe so brilliantly.
Yeah.
I love it. But Joe's cray cray. And so again, we have followers of Joe getting killed by the police or the FBI because they storm in after Ryan and Joe leave. They wind up shooting the majority of their followers. Yeah, just don't follow Joe. I'm sorry. You're just gonna wind up getting killed.
Yeah, well, so basically Ryan gets a phone call from Luke and Mark because they find Claire, and that's how the last episode ended. They find Claire there, which is like a Christmas present. So they call Ryan and they're like, "You want to see Claire again? You bring Joe to me." So Ryan basically reveals himself to Joe, also saving Mike's life, and tells him, he's like, "We have to go because they have Claire, and you need to help me save her." And Joe, for once, does the right thing and is like, I need to man up here and go help Claire out. So they do get out of the building before it's stormed, and they go off in was it a police car? I can't remember, or was it like a SUV or something?
It was some kind of police vehicle. It was probably like an FBI SUV that's like unmarked, and of course not Joe, but Ryan's version of a disguise was to punch Joe in the face and have him bleeding. Yeah. Yeah, he needed to get punched just a little bit. And so Mike and Max were supposed to follow behind them. And this got a little bit confusing for me because Joe and Ryan got into a car accident because one of Joe's followers decides that he needed rescuing. And so proceeds to turn over the car, and then Joe got mad at him for trying to rescue him, and so he shoots him. But Mike and Max didn't really see that, and it wasn't really mentioned either. So that confused me because I'm like, wouldn't they have had to have passed the car on their way to meet up with Joe and Ryan? Like, I'm not understanding that. Did they go another route? That confused me.
That whole situation was weird because Joe thanked him and said, "What took you so long?" In fact, Joe nodded at his follower when he was getting into the car as if to give him the go-ahead. So I don't understand what the whole purpose of that was, what the whole purpose of creating that accident was if you were just going to kill the person who saved you. I don't know if they wanted to get out of that vehicle because it was marked, or I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of that was. It didn't make sense to me. But I think
that was a waste of a follower because he pretty much died for nothing too. Because I mean, he didn't have to rescue if you're on your way to rescue Claire, or was maybe he misinterpreted that not like just follow, not try and rescue. Like if he had just followed him, they probably would have been able to get away after Joe tried to rescue Claire or take Claire with him, and then they would have bounced. Like it. I think the follower misinterpreted what Joe really wanted and got killed for it.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't explained, so I think it was kind of like a little hiccup here with the writing because it just didn't make sense. Or maybe we both missed something. I don't know.
Maybe I missed something too. It was just a little weird for me.
But I think Claire and Max did not leave immediately. I think they left.
Mike and Max?
Mike and yes.
Eminem.
What did I say? My goodness. But yeah, I don't think they left right away. I think they followed like a couple minutes after or something like that. Like they just didn't leave right away. But yeah, so Joe and Ryan head off to where Luke is. Luke and Mark are. To go save Claire, and they go in. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, they just go in, guns ablazing, of course, and it doesn't work out for them. They get caught and tied up, and they have that weird Mark and Luke. What is with them in the dinner table? Like, I don't.
It's their shtick. It's their signature. And for a second there, I was a little bit concerned that Claire was already dead. Like, it wouldn't have mattered because they like to kill people and have them sit at the dinner table already dead and just eat. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I was a little bit confused there. I was happy that Claire was alive. Of course, I'm mad at her again because of what happened at the end with her and Ryan, but that's getting ahead of myself. Yeah, that whole conversation was like a therapy session. It was really weird.
Yeah, and Mark has some weird respect for Ryan just because of the stuff that he's been through, but it's just like misplaced. Like he's like, what did he call him? Complicated, and you could just look at his eyes. He had this just weird respect for. I mean, like, yeah, Ryan. He's who's like FBI, you should have respect for him, but like Mark's respect was kind of like odd.
Mhm.
And Luke was having none of that. He didn't care. Um,
Yeah. No.
and so torturing them, but then um, Max and Mike bust in. And do you know when? And I know you were. I can totally see your face right now when Mike gets hit and he's like
Yes,
lying
I
there.
was like, don't
I
do
was like,
this to me.
you're having a react because Max lost it. She like totally flipped out when she saw him lying there. She like freaked out, and I was like, Eminem, and I'm like, that's what Natasha's doing right now.
I was like, why did you get yourself hit in the back of the head, you silly goose? Like, you should know that where one twin is, the other one is not too far behind. Like, I'm like, don't do it! But at least he got one of the twins, but unfortunately Mark got away, and of course that leaves that open for season 3 as the villain, because apparently Mark had to grow up a lot this season. I mean, his whole family's been pretty much wiped out. And who is this person that picked him up? Is this like an uncle or some other kind of close relative or some kind of an associate of his mom's? Like, who picked him up?
Oh my God, I fully expected him to turn around, like them to pan the camera around and to be that news reporter. I totally expected it.
You know what? That wouldn't surprise me. I'm like, I was starting to like her, and maybe I shouldn't.
Yep. And so, but they didn't show us, so that's kind of like a cliffhanger type of thing. But yes, everybody gets out. Okay, Joe gets caught again. I mean,
Ryan
obviously.
had an opportunity to shoot him,
and he
ended once. I felt like that was a slap in the face for Mike because he shot Lily. She was unarmed, but he shot her pretty much for revenge, and maybe he shouldn't have, but at the same time I felt like what Ryan did was kind of like, I just pretty much sacrificed my career, or I sacrificed my, I guess, what used to be my morals, and you didn't follow what I did.
No, Ryan was trying to teach him a lesson. He was trying to be like, this is not the way to be.
That's still a slap in the face.
Oh. Yeah, so that happened, and so they've got Joe now again, but who
knows how long that's gonna last. I mean, if people keep wanting to follow, I mean, they had like a group of people wanting to have a party in Joe's honor, and they were like, they didn't see a problem with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people.
And which brings us to Claire and the WTF moment. I wrote all kinds of mean things about Claire right here at this point, a lot of which I can't read. But I was angry.
Yes, I was a little upset with her too, because I'm like, Ryan did all of this, and you're just gonna break up with him? I know that you. I'm sorry. I know that you have to still go undercover because Joe's alive. Thank you, Ryan. Joe is still alive and has the potential to still go after you and escape again because that's just what he does. He convinces people to let him escape. And so she still has to be undercover or in police or protective custody. But did you have to break up with the man? Like, y'all couldn't write secret coded messages or something? Like, what? I'm not understanding.
It was a slap in the face too to like Ryan because he didn't shoot Joe. She's like saying, well, you didn't shoot him, so we can't be together. I'm like, he took the high road, and what does he get for it? Her saying, thanks, I came back and turned your life upside down, and I know I hurt you, but I'm bouncing out.
You know what? If that was the case, then you should have stayed hidden, boo. I'm sorry, if that was the case, then he should have still thought you were dead.
You know,
there was no point in you coming back at all, which means Emma still would have been alive, but that's not the point. The point is, he would at least have some kind of, he would have moved on at least a little bit. I don't know.
But she destroyed him. He started to move on. He came back in. She ruined he was moving on, And she ruined that by showing that she was still alive, and he went right back into his old ways. He was in love with her, and she came out and did this. And if I was Max, I would have ran over there and punched her in the face. I'd have been like, you know what? She should have just, because Ryan can't do it, so she should have just totally brawl right there.
No, she was all up in Mike's Kool-Aid because he was okay, and then they had their little moment, and I'm so happy.
We're like, finally!
Finally, yes!
So Claire's a selfish woman, and I hope I never see her again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure we'll see her again. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. But Mark is definitely, I think, going to be the villain or the main villain for season 3, as well as whoever helped him. Maybe Joe will make an appearance as a consultant as far as what steps they could possibly take to go after Mark. I don't know. Hopefully he does not escape again, because that will just be revisiting season 1 and season 2. And just have him make special appearances every once in a while. Let's have a new baddie. I'm fine with that.
I just feel like Mark can't play. I mean, Joe, say what you will, but he had a sophistication when it came to planning these elaborate things. He's very intelligent, and I'm not saying Mark is not very intelligent, but can pull off some of the things that Joe pulled off. I don't think so.
Well, maybe the person that picked him up will.
True that.
So, again, I'm just hoping that whoever picked Mark up will be part of the new bad that is season 3, and Ryan and Mike, of course, along with Max, will, be on the chase and chase them down, and yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, we will see. We gotta wait, an entire year to find out, so... Well, that, I guess, is our covering of the last 2 episodes, including the season finale. Like I said, we are going to do a series of these with the finales, mind you, and just to catch up on the last couple of weeks since we were out.
Yeah.
So this is the one for the following, and we will see you again very soon. For a recap of Grimm. So,
all right.
Actually, we should always tell them where they can find us.
Of course.
You can find me at Anime23 or at The Nerd Element. And Natasha?
At WillCat12 and also at The Nerd Element.
Right, and check us out, www.thenerdelement.com. All right, guys, see you in a little bit.
All right, thanks.
Bye.